assists were pretty lopsided, so were the three-pointers. Was that really kind of the difference in the game for you guys?
That would be part of it. I think the thing that hurt us the most was the job they did on the offensive glass. I think they averaged 27 threes per game in SEC play. They're very proficient in how they play, very efficient in how they play. I think how we play defensively somewhat encourages threes. And so teams that have as many shooters as they have and are as comfortable with the ball, it will probably lead to high assists and high threes. I thought the 23s they took in the first half in many respects were different than the 13 they took in the second half. And I would attribute a portion of that being they really did a really good job on the offensive glass over the last 8 minutes. And some of those second shots were threes that kind of came from a different genre than what they did in the first half. They're as good as any team in the country. Coach has done a fabulous job. His staff, the roster, the construction, the style of play, they're going to put stress on you regardless. But I, personally, not to be argumentative, I wouldn't necessarily say it was the assisted threes, but I understand the question.
You guys cut it to 6, and then obviously they kind of pulled away late. I know the physicality, you touched on the offensive rebounds. Was fatigue a factor, or what do you think kind of bled into that in terms of your ability maybe not to get the defensive rebounds or box out like you wanted to?
Yeah, the easy explanation is they were more physical. I wouldn't necessarily say it was fatigue. Personally, I know you're entitled to your opinion. I thought our guys played really hard. I think Florida's talent is elite, among the best in the country per position, including the guys off the bench. I know that 3 changes their team relative to depth inside. I thought we did a good job in the first half with number 9 and 21 getting those 4 fouls. But it's, in my opinion, not coaches. It's not as if there's a drop-off when 3 comes in. And so I think the run that we were on that you mentioned, I haven't seen it obviously, but I think we were getting consecutive stops. And in some of that, we were scoring. But I think the separation was we weren't getting consecutive stops in that last 6.5, 7.5 minutes. And it wasn't exclusively first shot defense. Most of it was we couldn't finish with the rebound, which led to a second shot where the floor is somewhat broken. And without watching it, just glancing at the numbers, that's what I would say.
But what do you take out of this 4-game losing streak other than just a brutal SEC?
Yeah, I think some of it is just the scheduling. I think our last 6 games would be top 5 in the country in regards to the toughest schedule. That's not to justify the results. I understand we're judged in accordance with the results. Mississippi State, to rewind, we played with way too many live turnovers that contributed to just over and over broken floor transition points. I thought our game against Tennessee on that Saturday morning was incredibly physical. They're as good as anybody in the country as well. Hall of Fame coach, great roster. It was a 1-ish possession game for most of the game. We did not play to our ceiling with tangible or intangible things that are important to us against Vanderbilt. Almost at all. Despite the score, I thought we were much closer to who we want to be tonight. And I haven't studied Auburn. You know, our mirror schedule, I don't even know Florida's, but 5 out of our 6 mirror games happened in the first 9 games. And so I can't speak to Auburn other than just when I glance at the scores and TV, but I would say Auburn would have a lot of the same superlatives that Florida does. And so we'll have to play even better than we did tonight, and what we did tonight was better, but not good enough.
Coach, obviously, Fuller is one of the best players ever to play at Texas A&M, and tonight, you know, sometimes even when he's not making shots, it's his ability to get in the paint and create for other people. There was less of that tonight. Something that Florida did. I know you're not worried about Fuller ever, but
Yeah, I do probably have in my career a great level of peace when Four's on the floor, and I do think, regardless of opponent, he commands attention. Some of it is because of his ability to score. Some of it is because, in many respects, he makes good decisions that help our team. I thought we were pretty predictable in some of the things that we were doing to get the ball inside tonight. Some of that is attributed to Four. My brain is very chaotic right now. I'm trying to slow down. I don't remember the question.
it's just if Florida did something that
Yeah, they play really hard. They have great size at every position. I think they play with great physicality. And like all teams, regardless of your defensive principles, it's probably predicated on not allowing it to get to the paint and to try to defend without fouling. I think at the rim, they may be the best I have seen. I haven't been doing it a long time, but I've been doing it a while. They are perfect. I haven't been to Florida's practice since Coach Donovan was here, but every shot at the rim, their thumbs are behind their ears. Even though many of those guys can block shots, their verticality is perfect. And this says that tonight, 38% of our shots were at the rim. It was pretty good. And we made 62% of those shots. And I don't have my game chart in front of me, but Florida's rim shot percentage defensively, I believe, was 3rd in our league. And so I'm rambling, so I'm going to stop.
Buzz, when you're doing a scouting report, how would you assess Thomas Hawk, number 10?
Yeah, let me think about it. Sometimes, you know this, sometimes you can find cracks. And normally you're trying to diagnose how do you want to handle ball screens. And then your second decision is probably how do you want to handle the weak side. And I think that a lot of what they're doing in the middle of the floor somewhat answers those questions for you. And I think that 10 spends a high percentage of his time in the middle of the floor, whether he's setting a ball screen or not. Maybe he's rolling from below. And when it's coming from the strong side and now they're playing to the weak side, he's very comfortable with the ball. But you somewhat have to play him as a shooter. And then with his size, you have to figure out how not to let him get the rebound as well. And so he's not the only one, but I just think his versatility, it's pretty good, right? Like, shoots 67% from three, 70% from the field, does a solid job on the glass, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, just ultra efficient. And so no matter how he's utilized with or without the ball, the crack is for sure not with him, if that makes sense.